Previously on The Gatsby Show, Nick Carraway was invited to dinner at the Buchanans with his old friend Tom and his cousin and Tom's wife, Daisy. The butler came back and murmured something close to Tom's ear, whereupon Tom frowned, pushed back his chair, and without a word went inside. As if his absence quickened something within her, Daisy leaned forward again, her voice glowing and singing.
I love to see you at my table, Nick. You remind me of a rose, an absolute rose, doesn't he?
She turned to Miss Baker for confirmation. Then suddenly she threw her napkin on the table and excused herself and went into the house. Miss Baker and Nick exchanged a short glance, consciously devoid of meaning. Nick was about to speak when she sat up alertly and said,
"This Mr. Gatsby you speak of is my neighbor."
Don't talk. I want to hear what happens.
Is something happening?
You mean to say you don't know? I thought everybody knew.
I don't.
Tom's got some woman in New York.
Got some woman?
Mm-hmm. She might have the decency not to telephone him at dinner time, don't you think? It couldn't be helped.
She sat down, glanced searchingly at Miss Baker and then at Nick, and continued.
I looked outdoors for a minute, and it's very romantic outdoors. There's a bird on the lawn that I think must be a nightingale. Come over on the Cunyard or White Star Line. He's singing away. It's romantic, isn't it, Tom?
If it's light enough after dinner, I want to take you down to the stables.
The telephone rang inside startlingly, and as Daisy shook her head decisively at Tom, the subject of the stables, in fact all subjects, vanished into air. Among the broken fragments of the last 5 minutes at table, Nick remembered the candles being lit again, pointlessly, and Nick was conscious of wanting to look squarely at everyone, and yet to avoid all eyes.
We don't know each other very well, Nick, even if we are cousins. You didn't come to my wedding.
Well, that's because I wasn't back from the war.
That's true. Well, I've had a very bad time, Nick, and I'm pretty cynical about everything.
Evidently, she had reason to be. Nick waited, but she didn't say any more, and after a moment, Nick returned rather feebly to the subject of her daughter.
I suppose she talks, and eats, and everything.
Oh, yes.
Listen, Nick, let me tell you what I said when she was born. Would you like to hear?
Very much.
It'll show you how I've gotten to feel about things. Well, she was less than an hour old, and Tom was God knows where. I woke up with an utterly abandoned feeling, and asked the nurse right away if it was a boy or a girl. She told me it was a girl, and so I turned my head away and wept. All right, I said, I'm glad it's a girl, and I hope that she'll be a fool. The best thing a girl can do in this world is be a beautiful fool. You think I see everything terrible anyhow. Everybody thinks so, the most advanced people, and I know. I've been everywhere and seen everything and done everything.
Her eyes flashed around her in a defiant way, rather like Tom's, and she laughed with thrilling scorn.
Sophisticated. God, I'm sophisticated.
The instant her voice broke off, ceasing to compel Nick's attention, Nick's belief, Nick felt the basic insincerity of what she had said. It made Nick uneasy, as though the whole evening had been a trick of some sort to exact a contributory emotion from Nick. He waited, and sure enough, in a moment, she looked at him with an absolute smirk on her lovely face, as if she had asserted her membership in a rather distinguished secret society to which she and Tom belonged. Inside, the crimson room bloomed with light. Tom and Miss Baker sat at either end of the long couch, and she read along to him from the Saturday Evening Post. The words, murmurous and uninflected, running together in a soothing tune. The lamplight, bright on his boots and dull on the autumn leaf yellow of her hair, glinted along the paper as she turned a page with a flutter of slender muscles in her arms. When they came in, she held them silent for a moment with a lifted hand. She remarked, apparently finding the time on the ceiling.
10 o'clock. Time for this good girl to go to bed. Jordan's going to play in the tournament tomorrow, over at Westchester.
Oh, you're Jordan Baker.
Nick knew now why her face was familiar. Its pleasing, contemptuous expression had looked out at me from many rotogravure pictures of the sporting life at Asheville and Hot Springs and Palm Beach. Nick had heard some story of her too, a critical, unpleasant story. But what it was, Nick had forgotten long ago. And now, a message from our sponsors.
Ever tried the double bubble gum? If not, get it today. It's the best bubble gum you could ever try. You won't regret it. Get it before we stop selling. Only 1 cent.
Now, back to the show.
Good night. Wake me up at 8, won't you? If you'll get up. I will. Good night, Mr. Carraway. See you anon. Of course you will. In fact, I think I'll arrange a marriage. Come over often, Nick, and I'll sort of fling you together. You know, lock you up accidentally in a linen closet and push you out on a seaboat and all sorts of things. Good night. I haven't heard a word.
She's a nice girl. They ought not let her run around the country this way.
Who on it to?
Her family.
Her family is one aunt about 1,000 years old. Besides, Nick's one to look after her. Aren't you, Nick? She's going to spend lots of weekends out here this summer. I think the home will influence her very good.
Daisy and Tom looked at each other for a moment in silence.
Is she from New York?
From Louisville. Our white girl was passed together there. Our beautiful white.
Did you give Nick a little heart-to-heart talk on the veranda?
Did I? I can't seem to remember, but I think we talked about the Nordic race. Yes, I'm sure I did. It sort of crept up on us, and first thing you know.
Don't believe everything you hear, Nick.
Wait, I forgot to ask you something, and it's important. We've heard you're engaged to a girl out west.
That's right. We heard that you're engaged. It's Libel. I'm too poor.
But we've heard it. We heard it from 3 people, so it must be true.
Of course Nick knew what they were referring to, but he wasn't even vaguely engaged. The fact that gossip had published the bans was one of the reasons Nick had come east. You can't stop going with an old friend on account of rumors, and on the other hand, Nick had no intention of being rumored into marriage. Their interest rather touched him and made them less remotely rich. Nevertheless, Nick was confused and a little disgusted as he drove away. It seemed to him that the thing for Daisy to do was to rush out of the house, child in arms, but apparently there were no such intentions in her head. As for Tom, the fact that he had some woman in New York was really less surprising than that he had been depressed by a book. Something was making him nibble at the edge of stale ideas, as if his sturdy physical egotism no longer nourished his peremptory heart. And now, another message from our sponsors.
Are you tired of lousy peanut butter? Buy some Peter Pan peanut butter. It's the tastiest, smoothest, and nuttiest peanut butter you will ever have. If people tell you our peanut butter costs a fortune, well, that's baloney. It's only 10 cents. Buy our delicious Peanut Pan peanut butter at your local store and remember, Peter Pan peanut butter is the nuttiest of all.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. See y'all next week.